Well, thank you very much for allowing us to be in your homes today. My name is Joseph Galizia, and continues to be part of our TLN series on advice on aging. We have some special guests today from Royal Bank of Canada, and here we're talking about what matters most, I think, in all of our lives, our financial issues. So to my direct right is Denise Costa, Regional Vice President of Investment Retirement Planning, and to her right, Rina Pelletieri, Regional Vice President for RBC Retail Banking. Welcome, ladies, and thank you very much for being part of this conversation regarding retirement planning and living with financial issues. So the major question, Rina, is, what financial steps should a person or even a couple in their 60s and 70s consider as they're about to move into a retirement home in a location of their choice?
Well, it's absolutely critical, as you know, Joseph, to ensure that as Canadians we plan in advance. The earlier we can save for our retirement, the better set up we will be for financial success. So regardless of the age, it's never too early to start planning. And today, as we brought today Denise Costa, who's our Regional Vice President of Investment Retirement Planners, she's going to explain a little bit further with regards to the steps that we take at RBC to ensure that our clients are set up for financial success. It's all about planning, and as early as possible really makes the difference.
Welcome, Denise. So when should someone start to decide to plan for a retirement home and retirement living?
That's a good question, Joseph. That's a good general question because everybody's different and everybody's situation is a little bit different. If they have family, if they need help, if they're going to need some assistance, if maybe their home is becoming a burden to them, it should really all take part of their financial plan. And when at RBC, when we sit down with our clients, we really try to look at what are they looking for in the future. What do they want? Everybody's situation is a little bit different, and how do we help them get to their goals? They all have their nest eggs, they've got their homes, and they're all worried. They're all worried about if their money's going to last them, and that's our job to help them and comfort them in that.
Well said, and that just brings us to the question from the community that they've asked us to ask you. So the question from the community.
Vorrei sapere quanto si paga in una casa di riposo e vorrei sapere anche se c'è la differenza tra la casa di riposo e stando in casa, quanto si paga di più.
I think that's a great question, and so as with living expenses being around $35,000 per year without nursing care for homeowners versus $45,000 for the average cost of a retirement home that provides care and support, how can seniors fund that difference, Denise?
Well, through their financial plan, we can sit down with seniors to make sure that they have their assets, and we can set up programs in place to make sure that they get monthly cash flows. There's a couple of different strategies that seniors can look at. We can take a look at their investment solutions. Are they diversified properly? When they start taking out of their investment portfolio and they start deaccumulating, very often seniors spend their whole life savings for their retirement. And what they probably struggle with the most is when they have to start deaccumulating their assets and using their money to fund their lifestyle, their retirement lifestyle. And there's a couple different approaches. So number one, taking a look at the best tax efficient investment options for them so that as they take monthly cash flow out, it makes sense. Number two, taking a look at their investment portfolio to make sure it's properly diversified depending on the person's risk. And the third one being is really taking a look at their registered and their non-registered investments and identifying what should they be touching first. All of that comes within a plan. And my recommendation is that everybody should have a plan. We spend so much time when we're younger saving for our retirement. We put a plan in place. And as we get older, we should invest the same amount of time in adjusting that plan to make sure that the plan still works for us.
That's well said. And some of the biggest misconceptions that I hear for seniors and their families is, they have to be rich to live into a retirement home, and the new normal in terms of retirement homes where they're a little bit more upscale and provide more services. So take us through some calculations and assessments helping our viewers assess their financial ability to pay for such services, given the fact that the average income may be approximately $35,000 and the average cost $45,000 to live in a retirement home. What sort of things beyond their monthly pensions and incomes could they consider as part of their investment planning?
That's a good question. I think that when individuals start looking at this aspect and they do start looking at how am I going to fund that $10,000 difference, what they forget to equate into that is that most of them do have an asset. They have their home. They have their home that they've never used and all that equity. We have an opportunity through accredited financial planners to really sit down and once they sell their home is to invest that money to make sure that it's invested appropriately that will help them supplement the additional income that they're going to need and give them an idea because everybody's in a different situation. So we can't really go through any mathematical assessments today, but we do have different tools and calculators depending on your situation that we would walk through with a client to make sure that we've actually got a plan and that their money's going to last them because people are living to their 80 and 90 years old and they need that comfort and not the stress.
That's very enlightening, and it's what Rena talked about earlier in terms of planning. It's never too early to plan for your retirement and for different services like retirement homes and long-term care homes as well. And it really goes to protecting people's legacy in terms of leaving the next generation a legacy of a nest egg that they can be proud of. What trends do you see with today's seniors and their families, given the fact that you're the vice president of, the largest financial institution of Canada?
What we tend to see many of the times, Joseph, is that clients are coming in to have a financial discussion with us. And when we're asking them for their goals and their plans for the future, that many of the times they haven't had that family discussion at the dinner table with regards to what their plans are for the future. And it could be, part of the plan could be retiring in a retirement home. It could be purchasing a vacation property down south, or it could be taking, an opportunity to travel around the world in an RV or whatever the case may be, or across the country. But what we notice the most is that they're not having those family discussions or those spousal discussions early enough. And when they get to that retirement point, they really don't have a plan in place. So my advice to all of them is make sure that they have those earlier discussions and they go into their financial institution and set the financial plan so they can be set up for financial success.
So Denise, in terms of being younger and starting to plan for the my financial future, what other information or suggestions could you give?
Well, I think when, as Rena mentioned, people are not spending enough time talking about this. So when we get together with a client, we go through a process we call Your Future by Design. And it starts as early as age of 45 years old. And really, when you look at this process, it's encompassing really what matters to you, because too often we think it's always about money, and it's not about money. When you're younger, the first thing we say, you got to save money for your retirement. But as you get older, your perspective changes. What's important to you changes. Legacy is important to you. Leaving money behind for your family. And we don't tell them what they should do because everybody is different. They tell us what's important to them, and we build a plan around it.
That's great. And our income is one of the well-known factors associated with life expectancy and good health. What services should seniors and their family members consider as they're going through these important conversations around the dinner table and as they're sitting down with you? What sort of services they should consider as well?
Well, we are living longer these days, and that's a beautiful thing. With advanced medicine, we are seeing the life expectancy a lot older than we have in the past, which is great. And what we want to make sure as Canada's largest financial institution at RBC Royal Bank is that people are taking care of their financial needs, again, very early on. And insurance is an important component of that. As Denise mentioned, making sure that they have set up an estate and a power of an attorney along with their will. Making sure that we're mitigating their risks and providing them with the proper services and advice that are going to ensure that they protect their hard-earned dollars that they've really worked hard for all these years. At the end of the day, it's not really how much you've made, but how much you've saved and how much you've earned through that savings to put away for retirement. And we always suggest that clients really talk to their family with regards to the goals that they're trying to achieve so that there's a plan in place. Legacy is a very important component of planning, and many seniors would like to ensure that they put a plan in place so that they leave a legacy for their family and their friends and the important things that they believe for their particular life. So that is all encompassed in the process of what we call at RBC Your Future by Design, and that's why it's so important to have a tailored plan in place.
So it just brings to the point that old adage. I loved what you just said in terms of it's not how much you make that's important, it's how much you save. And it's critical for those seniors that require retirement living as part of their aging process, and to know that they're able to afford that at the same time, not dwindle away from their hard-earned money and be able to leave a legacy for their family members. So I just want to thank you both, Denise and Rena, for a wonderful conversation on financial planning, especially for those that are considering retirement living, whether it's independent living or assisted living, as part of their process in order to ensure their needs and your needs are met. So thank you both, and thank you for allowing us to be in your homes tonight.